This week, your assignment is to complete a final version of the summons and the complaint for the Bradley Smart case. We will have been working on this in the live session, but I also have several tips to help you. First of all, the summons is what summons the defendant to court, where you will be telling them where the location of the court is and that they will have to respond to that summons within a certain amount of time. Otherwise, they will have that default judgment. So, I have helped you by listing the link here, first of all, for this summons to a Microsoft Word version where you will be able to see and edit a summons for a Delaware court, so that you can just plug in the relevant information. You can change the court to a different state, but it will have all the information that you need to include, as well as the formatting. So go ahead to this tiny.cc /summons /, and as I say, this will pull up a Microsoft Word document with that summons. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you have any questions on the summons, though, and you are not able to open this, please do contact me. I also recommend always looking at Google and searching summons under images, and that will also pull up some actual summons that have been used. That also will work for the complaint. If you want to see some sample complaints, Google complaint, or especially court complaint, or some, a jurisdiction like an Arizona complaint or whatnot. And that will also pull up some images under a Google image search of a complaint that has actually been turned in. Now, I also have a tiny website that I have linked to instructions. This is done by a Pro Se website that explains all of what you need to have for a complaint, and it explains how to make the formatting right for a complaint, to put those margins in and the backward paragraph signs right. So this is also tiny.cc /complaint. And so this will also help you, hopefully, to understand exactly what you need to include. Now, the complaint is a lot more complex than the summons, as it does contain a lot of the information that you will have, that this is what you file with the court, containing all the allegations of the crime. So for the complaint, at the very top, you need to have the jurisdiction here. You're going to have your caption. This will have usually the court name up at the top. And then you'll have this sort of box where it's, this party, X party versus, and this will be your plaintiff, the one that is bringing the complaint, the one that is bringing that. Sorry, you can't see this very well. So this is the court that you are in. And then you'll have your one party. So in this case, we would have Mr. Bradley Smart, because again, Mr. Bradley Smart is the plaintiff here. And then you would have that versus the defendant, whether it's the individual, or in this case, it's probably going to be the corporation, is ABC Manufacturing. That will be the two parties. So the defendant is the one that you are taking to court, that you are alleging the bad action against, the one that you are filing the suit against. Then on this other side, you are going to have the case number. You leave this blank. That is filled in by the judge later in the case when it is filed. So after you have this, then you have the complaint section. And in this section, you're going to list, the plaintiff, Mr. Smart, complains against ABC Manufacturing, the defendant, And then you're going to put your claim, that claim of sexual harassment, that violation of Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Your jurisdiction comes after that. And this is related to what court you are in. Why are you in that court? Is it a federal matter? And the federal matter is if it's over a certain amount of money, or if, there are different residents, if, ABC Manufacturer is a corporation that's located in Texas, but Mr. Smart is in California, for example, that could also subject some federal jurisdiction. But your jurisdiction is based on, so it could be that diversity of citizenship and the amount in the controversy, depending on how much you're looking for. If it exceeds $75,000 and you have the diversity of citizenship, that will give you that federal, that district court for the federal district of whatever state you're going for jurisdiction. Or else you can file it in state court. So you just need to have some sort of jurisdictional statement about where it's being filed. Following that, you're going to have a statement of your claims. I'm going to erase some of this so that you can see it better. So then we're going to be having, so your jurisdiction is after this, and then you're going to have a statement of claims. There we go. So after the jurisdiction, and then we're going to write about the jurisdiction, then you're going to write your, and then so this will have a bunch of stuff below it. Then statement of claims. Your statement of claims is going to state what happened, on such and such date, Miss Robinson, manager at ABC Manufacturing, said this remark. On such and such date, she said this remark. You're just going to spell out kind of the facts, your statement of what your claims are and what has happened. And then as a result, you want to make sure you include in here, in addition to the facts of what happened, you need to include as a result, and this is where you're going to want to talk about the hostile work environment of Mr. Bradley Smart, and that he either had to quit his job or that he suffered, that he couldn't keep working in that environment, kind of what the result of these facts and the actions in the case were. And so after you've gone through this, you're going to state, so after, pretend this is a new page now, then you're going to state your demand for relief. Demand for relief. Demand for relief. I don't know if you can read my writing. You can see why it's probably good that we have the typing function. So your demand for relief is going to be, wherefore Mr. Bradley Smart, and then you're demanding what he wants. Demands judgment of, and then you want to put the amount in here, with, and then you're going to probably say with interest and costs. Right here, with the interest and costs, this is going to mean that the cost of this litigation, your attorney's costs and your fees for filing, that he's demanding this in addition to this sum. So they're going to have to pay all these attorney's costs. And so then you're going to, for this one, want the jury trial. So you're going to, instead of having a bench trial, you're going to say jury demand, including, plaintiff demands a jury trial. Demands a jury trial. And jury trials can be advantageous if you can get the jurors on your side, and you're good at selling your case, then that could be advantageous. Sometimes it's not. And then, of course, at the bottom, you need to dated this, and then you're going to put the blank But you can actually put in a number, but it'll, the whatever day of, and then the month, November, and then the year, 2000, so what the month and the year, is obviously going to be changed, but, you can fill that out. And then you have a signature after the date. You need to have a signature by the attorney, a signature line. You're not the attorney, so you can't sign it. But then, who's the attorney? You're going to have Mr. Hamilton's name down here because you are not the attorney. So Mr. Hamilton is the attorney that will be signing. And then you need to have, attorney for plaintiff. And that's for Mr. Bradley Smart, that he's the attorney. So, his first name here, and then he'll be signing on that blank. So look over if you have any questions. First, go to that tiny.cc/complaint. That should really help you to see it there. Look at the checklist. There's on your page 238, 239 of your textbook. It goes over the complaint, details it. And there is also a checklist on page 248 of your book. Look at that checklist. Make sure you included all those items. Again, use complete sentences, spell check your work, use correct grammar, and if in doubt, Google. Google is an amazing resource for pulling up other sample complaints that have been filed and asking questions, even about jurisdiction or what to put in different places. And I also am always available to answer any of your questions. Good luck.